this episode of John's Motorcycle Rescue and Review. Today I am standing with my latest purchase. This is my latest project that I've picked up, and it's a 1982 Suzuki GS750E. And some of you may be asking, why this bike? Why would you buy a bike that's kind of a little bit rough cosmetically and needs some things? And honestly, this bike is maybe a little bit rougher than I typically like to buy cosmetically to begin with. All indications point to it's only got around 13,000 miles on it, and so that's low original miles. The gas tank is very clean inside. The bike did, when I looked at it, I could actually run the bike and drive it a little bit, so it was running when I bought it, so there wasn't an unknown. Regarding the motor, it sounded okay. I didn't hear any bad noises actually coming from the inside of the motor. So I thought it was worth taking a chance on getting. And really, I want to make sure that the mechanicals of a bike are in place and functioning properly first. And so that's what I've been working on for the last couple of days. When I bought the bike, it wasn't charging at full voltage. It was only charging at about 12.5 volts. So included in the purchase was a new, it looks like a Rick's Hotshot regulator. It also looks like they replaced the stator at some point because there was new wiring coming from the stator. And so when I did install yesterday, I installed the Rick's regulator, and immediately my voltage went up to about 13.9 volts, which is perfect for a bike of this vintage, and it's exactly where it needs to be. So I'm happy about that. The voltage issue seems to be rectified. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to ride the bike, get it up to temperature, and bring it back, and then I'll check the charging system again. While I'm riding it, I'm also going to be evaluating what else needs to be done on this project. I will change the handlebars out. These handlebars are a little bit bent. These mirrors are cheap. They're almost like scooter mirrors, but that's because they've replaced the clutch perch and the brake master cylinder with inexpensive aftermarket parts. I may put those back to stock, but yeah, it's just a matter right now of when I first get a bike, it's kind of triage. I want to check it over, make sure the oil is good, that the filter is installed properly. I want to ensure the mechanical health of the bike and the safety of the bike, and to that end, at this point, I've bled out the brakes front and back, and they're still a little bit mushy, and the front brake pads may need to be replaced. But once I have it running exactly the way that I want it, then I will start in more of a concentration on the cosmetics. Get a new seat cover for it. This one isn't horrid, but it doesn't look very professionally done. I'm not real happy with the seat cover. You can see it's also missing some side covers, and there's just a lot of corrosion and such. I do have a new valve cover gasket, and within the next week or so, I will, because the valve cover gasket on this bike is already leaking, I will go in and check the valves, retorque the head, and just make sure, it's my standard procedure, just make sure everything is good to go. But from riding this bike just around the block briefly, just listening to it and getting it to run here, I think this has very solid potential. I think it's a solid bike mechanically, and it will really make a nice machine for, if I keep it just for my use as a daily driver. I'll probably never put it back to like show bike quality, just because it's not all original. But we'll fire it up and take it for a ride. Right now I am riding Suzuki's 1982 GS750E, and when this bike came out, this was the best in class. It was the best all-around 750 GT style motorcycle. It really continued the theme of the UJM, the Universal Japanese Motorcycle, and it had a 16 valve head on a 4-cylinder motor.
Now this model had the 5-speed. They had not yet gone to the 6-speed as they did, I think, in '84 on the GS750EX. But these were just a fantastic all-around bike, easy to ride. They were sporting. They had the dual disc brakes up front, so they stopped well. They had adjustable damping in the suspension and air adjustment in the front suspension, and just a fantastic all-around machine. And they were honestly quick. This bike is relatively quiet with the stock exhaust. It seems a little bit cold-blooded. When I first started out, it was running a little bit just hesitantly, and what I've done is I'll probably go in and clean the carburetors, and when I'll probably go up one size on the idle jets, and that usually helps the bikes just warm up so much quicker. And once it's warmed up like this, it seems to be running pretty decent. So I think it's just a matter of lean pilot jets. And then it gets a little surgy right there and sometimes. So there could be some dirt floating around in the carbs. I'm not sure. I'll have to just get in there and check everything out. I haven't taken apart the carburation system at all. Once this bike is dialed in, it will, honestly, it'll be a pretty quick bike on back roads. I haven't set up the suspension yet. Right now it's not bad. It's not too wallowy. It's a little bit softer than I prefer. But like I say, I haven't done anything to it yet. The styling on these bikes is a little bit what I would call 80s funky. It's not, to my eye, it's not a beautiful bike. It's functional and just a little, like I say, 80s funky. I don't really know what else to say. They kind of got away from the classically beautiful bikes of the 70s, and really, styling-wise, the 80s were just, and on the one hand, I guess it was cool because people weren't afraid to do something different, but in my brain, different isn't always better. And while there were some really nice-looking bikes to come out of the 80s, it's not really a period that's known for classically beautiful motorcycles. But these things, on a functional side, if you look at the instrumentation of this bike, it's just phenomenal. They've got the gear indicator, they've got the engine temp sensor, they've got the gas gauge, they've got the big tach, the big speedometer, and they also have warning lights for the oil and high beam, neutral, turn signals, and even a side stand warning lamp, which is great. And my goal today is just to run this bike a little bit more than I have previously, a couple more miles, still staying somewhat close to the house. And because I did some work on the electrical system, I will get this back to the house and check the voltage, make sure all of that is functioning like it should. And in the meantime, I'm just going to be watching to make sure that my lights aren't getting dim or there's other signs of the charging system not functioning properly. Interesting symptoms here. Sometimes it pulls really nice, and then sometimes it seems to hang up right around between 4,000 and 5,000 RPM, and it doesn't want to rev. So I don't know if, I'm just not sure why that is. Almost feels like it's kind of fouling on a plug and then it comes back online. But it feels like it's just cutting out a little bit on one cylinder at that RPM, between 4,000 and 5,000 RPM and kind of mid-throttle. And not always, it's inconsistent.